Hey y'all, it is Tap In Tuesday, so let's get to it. Let's tap in. So, in my book, Little Girl Arise, there's a chapter called Faith and Wisdom. And in that chapter, I really talk about the importance of having faith, but also having wisdom, operating in faith, but also operating with wisdom, coming from a place of, having secure faith, but also having and implementing and using wisdom. So often we have faith, but we don't apply wisdom, or we use wisdom, but we don't have the faith. God wants us to have them both. And I certainly think that, as I kind of been reflecting on what's been going on over the last few weeks in our world that's impacting our home, impacting our families, our jobs, I thought about how super, super important it is that we have faith, but we also have wisdom. That we have faith that God can protect us from COVID-19, that he can heal those who have been affected by COVID-19, but also have the wisdom in the sense of protecting ourselves, making sure that we stay home, we stay safe, we avoid unnecessary, running in and out, that we get somewhere and we be still. Because apparently that's the only way that we're going to beat this thing. At first, I was like, man, this is getting extreme, stay at home, that's going to be difficult. But we are really seeing the importance of that, right? And wisdom helps us see that. Now, faith helps us not have fear. Faith helps us to control our anxiety. Faith helps us to know that there is something greater and better that's going to come on the other side of this. But wisdom helps us operate in a sense of, I have some sense. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do what I need to do. I always say, faith will help us get the thing. Wisdom is a thing that's going to determine if we keep it or not. Faith might help us obtain something, but wisdom determines if we're going to be able to sustain it, excuse me. So in this season that we're facing, this major crisis, this pandemic that's affecting our entire world, literally touching every part of our lives. I talked about this on last week, that the whole entire world is literally focused on the same thing right now. Everybody's attention is on this coronavirus and how it's impacting them and their families, their lives, their livelihood, their jobs, right? So right now, I want us to continue to have faith. I want us to continue to trust God. Look, we are not going to get through this without faith, but I want you to recognize the importance, the significance, the very great need for wisdom right now. Wisdom in operating in your home, wisdom in maintaining what you have to do for your work life, wisdom for your kids as it relates to their school and completing whatever tasks need to be done while they're out of school to ensure that they advance to the next grade and they're able to excel in that next grade. We have to use wisdom. We have to use wisdom when, picking and choosing when you want to eat out, when you want to go to the store, if you should go out, for a walk, or if you should stay put. Listen, they're putting directives in place for our own protection, even though they may seem rigid, even though they may seem unrealistic, even though they may seem pretty hard to follow, and then to fathom that we're going to have to go through this throughout the rest of the month. Yeah, that's a bit overwhelming. That right there is where we have to connect with our faith, because when we think about a whole month, you're telling me I'm going to have to stick with these rigid stipulations for a whole month. Okay, God, I need some faith so that you can sustain my mental, that you can sustain, my emotional self. So I'm going to need faith, but God, I also need wisdom to know when to move and when to sit still, what to go to and what not to go to. Always adhere to the rules and the policies that they're putting out for us, because they are for our safety. Even though it seems rigid, even though it seems a bit overwhelming, they are for our safety. Listen, I think it's super important that we have faith and that we have wisdom. I think it's super important that we use both faith and wisdom. And y'all, more importantly than ever before, I think that we need to be operating in both of them right now. What do you think? So this week, make sure that you continue to build your faith, continue to build up your faith in God, but also ask God to help you use wisdom as you continue to have your faith placed in Him, the only source where our faith makes sense, right? All right, well, you guys have a great day. You have a great Tuesday. I'm praying for you during this time. I am trusting God that He is keeping you well, and that anyone that has been affected, that He's healing you. I am sending you all the love, all the joy, all the peace that I can share with you guys on today, and I will tap in with you on next week.